Peace. This is Wise for Wise Words Media back at y'all for another round. After making my rounds and finally getting some of my voice back, wow, I just been hanging out with friends, just been calling up friends, friends calling me. Had a couple friends come by, check me. Like, yo, this has been wow. I mean, this is a moment in life I never thought I would live through. I would never thought I would experience, and that is my New York Knicks finally becoming world champions. Wow, this is like 33 years in the making, and this one is special, man. This championship is special not only because if you're not from New York, you don't really understand. Like when it comes to football, the town's divided. You got Jets and Giants. When it comes to baseball, you got Yankees, Mets. When it comes to hockey, you got Rangers, Islanders, Devils. But when it comes to basketball, 90% of the city in the tri-state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, 90% of it is all Knicks fans. With a little scattering 10% of Nets fans. But the predominant, basically all of us are Knicks fans. So this thing united the city. It united so many different people, and it was just big, man. This championship is, I'm seeing, and it's funny, man. It's funny because I'm seeing a lot of bandwagon, and there's been bandwagon from people in my circle, people I went to school with, some of my best friends. Like, there's been bandwagon guys that were Chicago Bulls fans, and because of the Jordan era, dudes that was Laker fans because of Shaq and Kobe, people that was their fandom was in different zip codes. All of a sudden, they got the most orange and blue wardrobe you've ever seen. Now they orange and blued out. Now it's for the city. Or this is because it's for the city, or whatever the case may be. But you know what? All that tells me is that all the heartbreak that fans like myself, the real ones that been there from 1993, like myself, with the with the Charles Smith missing and getting blocked like 4 times on the layup. Those Knicks fans that were there for that. The Knicks fans that were there for Reggie Miller's 8 points in 8 seconds. For the choke job, Reggie Miller. The fans that were there for that. The fans that were there for Patrick Ewing's finger roll missing. The Knicks fans that were there that understood that 1997 we had a really strong chance. And then Miami, the brawl breaks out between PJ Brown and Charlie Ward, where this fight, this brawl, led to teams being more conscious about what happens during the fight and keeping your bench not crossing those lines. Because of that, we had key suspensions and we lost the series to Miami. If you've been there through those heartbreaks, if you've been there through the days where our roster consisted of guys like Alexei Shved, when it consisted of guys like Dan Dickau, when our big trade and our big splash was getting Andre Bargnani, if you are there for those days, if you were there for all of those days, if you were there for the days of having the 8th pick in a draft that had future Hall of Famer Steph Curry, and the Knicks became louder of their rumblings of trying to get Steph Curry, and you had the 8th pick with an opportunity to get him, and Steph Curry goes at the 7th pick to Golden State. If you've been here through that, if you've been here through the days where the Knicks only needed to lose 2 out of 3 games for a top 3 pick, and the Knicks win 2 out of 3 games to get a top 5 pick, if you lived through all of those days, if you lived through Phil Jackson's disaster, pushing our franchise back, when Rick Pitino Rick Pitino begged him, practically begged him, like, listen, you have to take Donovan Mitchell in this draft. This guy is a future stud. He's a star in this league. And Phil Jackson said no because he couldn't see him running a triangle or was too small to be a star. If you was here for when Phil Jackson having this information on draft night picks Frank Ntilikina and pushed our franchise back another 5-10 years, if you were here for all of that, then this championship was for you, it was for me, it was for us. It just wasn't for, that's what this championship was for. It was for us. But yeah, man, this thing is special for many reasons. This championship was definitely for us, man. If you've been through these days, man. And on that note, for all the Chicago Bulls fans in the 90s and all the Laker fans and everybody who jumped on our bandwagon, yeah, all them years and all them days in junior high school arguing with y'all in the classroom and in the basketball court, all them days in high school arguing with y'all in the lunchroom, in the classroom, in the gym, all them barbershop arguments, everywhere, all them heated debates and arguments on the block, all of that. Yeah, y'all may have won championships with the Bulls and the Lakers, but the fact that today y'all wearing orange and blue, that shows that we may have lost the battles, many battles, but we won the war. Because we never crossed over to y'all side. We never jumped on any bandwagon. We never tried to attach ourselves to success. We kept it in the mud. And we understood one day what's down must come up, man. Took 30 plus years, but this is it. We up. We up right now. But yeah, man, this Knicks team was something special. You know, it came together. Gotta give credit to Leon Rose, Worldwide West. These guys put together a roster. They put together a team that little by little they started constructing something with a vision. And when certain pieces didn't fit, they replaced them with pieces that made this thing a lot better. You understand? Like, it started with, and you know, peace and thank you to both Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett, a tandem that I used to call the Deadly Lefties. Like, when they were here, we made the first round. You know, we made the play-in. Then we made the first round. Then when we got Jalen Brunson and added him to that mix, J.B. Smooth, he took us from a first round team to winning a first round matchup and going up against the Miami Heat in the second round. You know, so we started getting better. Now they looking, front office is looking, they're like, this still ain't it. So now they did a move that even had me. I gotta say the truth. I was upset when they traded R.J. Barrett, because New Yorkers, we love our homegrown, especially Yankee fans. We love our homegrown. We want to win championships with our homegrown. You know what I'm saying? So, just like the Yankees did with Jeter, Mo, Posada, Pettit, Bernie. Like, we like winning championships with our homegrown. So we're like, oh, damn, they traded a lot of people. Half the people were divided in that. And I was in of the percentage that was like, man, y'all gonna give up a homegrown talent. He's only 22 or whatever. And they did it for OG Anunoby. And you cannot, from day one, OG showed you he was amongst the best 3-and-D guys in the league. Lock you down on one end, knocking down three-pointers on the other side. So that trade, slowly you started to feel like, all right, yeah, we got the better of that one. But then it didn't stop there. They had to make a very hard choice and take all these draft picks and send them for a guy like Mikal Bridges, who was a complimentary piece to Anunoby on the wings. That another guy that could defend. And then the missing piece, man, Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns was a guy that was supposed to be a Knick. But in one of those years, like I've said, where the Knicks could have had a top number one pick, we end up winning an extra game or two, and that pushed our chances back. But Towns was a guy that I wanted to be a Knick since day one, since he was killing in college. And it hurt me to see him go number one in Minnesota. And that was the year we got Porzingis. But he's home. He's home. A great trade. You know, it hurt sending DiVincenzo out. It hurt. And, you know, Randall went out. But the Randall thing hit its ceiling. We weren't going to be past. We weren't going to be more than a second round team with Randall. So we ended up getting Karl-Anthony Towns. And when you construct that thing together, man, a Jalen Brunson to lead the charge, a guy who's been the greatest player. He was the best player in high school. Won a state championship in high school. Still was overlooked. Went to Villanova. Won 2 national championships. NCAA champion 2 times and most outstanding player. Still drafted in the second round. Still was said to be too little. Still said to not be a professional. Worked hard. Came to the New York Knicks. And the Dallas Mavericks are some funny people because Brunson wanted to stay with the Mavericks. He wanted to stay with the Mavericks. But the Mavericks, they didn't want him. And he practically begged them to stay. And the Mavericks told him to walk. And then when they start seeing what Brunson's doing here in New York, all of a sudden, now they want to file a complaint with the league talking about the Knicks were tampering with Jalen Brunson. Man, comical. This team right here, man, was special. It was a bunch of people that were rejected. Josh Hart, a journeyman, he was nothing more than a journeyman throughout the league. And this team came in here with a blue-collar mentality. They had a winning formula with the Villanova guys that already won a championship in college. And they surrounded that with guys like Anunoby, guys like Karl-Anthony Towns. They went and got an Alvarado who fit this thing perfectly and became our pesky terror off the bench. And this whole thing just came together magnificently. Landry Shamet, the same Landry Shamet that was on Coach Tibbs' bench, became a huge contributor, hitting something like 13 out of 15 three-pointers in a row. So, congratulations to the New York Knicks. This championship was for us. And for anybody, because, you know, I'm already starting to hear it on ESPN. I'm hearing people talk about it in person. I'm hearing talk on the radio. Listen, anybody that try to tell you that this championship was any less because the Spurs were too young and if we would have played OKC, we would have lost. Anybody that try to tell you that the Spurs were too young, when did they tell you? Ask them this. Who did LeBron James beat to win his first championship? Who did he beat? He beat a young OKC. Nobody ever talks about, LeBron beat a young OKC. No, everybody says LeBron James is a 4-time champion or whatever. Nobody talks about the youth and experience of OKC. When people try to tell you about, when you bring up who won the championship in 1995, when you ask that, who won the 1995 championship? It was the Houston Rockets. Nobody ever says, but Shaq and Penny, they were inexperienced. Shaq was only in the league for a few years. Penny was only in the league for 2. Nobody says that. They just say that the Houston Rockets are the NBA champions in 1995. So don't worry about what anybody or any fan base got to say. Because when they look back at the record books, only thing they're going to see is the 2026 champions with the New York Knicks. And that's all that matters. I'm Wise for Wise Words Media. I'm at the parade tomorrow. We gonna do something out there. Peace.